So in this video, I want to make something clear. As a kid, my standards were very low. So in these videos, I'm talking about my father did not get me enough clothing to even match an orphan. And that is absolutely true. But my standards are very low. When I was growing up as a kid, me having shorts that were way too above the knee and other kids were making fun of me for having old clothes, and me having to trade cigarettes for clothing because the other kids are orphans who get orphanage clothing checks. They get $200 a month and they get brought to go clothing shopping, and this program wants, my father to give some money to me to go clothing shopping, but he's refusing. He says that he'll do the clothing shopping, but yet when I ask him about clothing, it's always later or Christmas present or before school clothing shopping. And then I get made fun of at school because I definitely don't have enough clothing, or the socks that need to be redone. So my mother just gets me socks, complains about lots of socks, gets me socks, complains about lots of socks. Meanwhile, I'm being made fun of because I'm wearing short shorts that used to fit me but now don't, and my whole drawer is filled with these short shorts. My father says they're fine. I have a lot of t-shirts that are basic and real old. They're getting tighter, as well as my father is buying me a lot of dress shirts and things that I did not pick out. When I go shopping with him, it's jeans, and he looks at the prices and he pressures me to try to pick out cheap stuff. As my mother says, buy more, and I don't know what to do. It's just a total shit show. And this is maybe a couple times a year. Now, for me, that was enough. I was happy with 10 pairs of jeans a year, or 10 pairs of pants a year, and 5 or 10 shirts a year, and then one Christmas outfit. That made me happy. And then lots of socks and underwear, lots of socks and underwear. That would have been enough for me as a child because I came from an orphanage. I literally just spent a lot of time in New Mexico getting choked because I didn't want food poisoning again. I literally just got OD'd by my mother in Westford and given an overdose that fucked up my nervous system. She gave me a full bottle of Epicac as a punishment because she didn't understand what was going on. So now, you think I cared about what I was wearing? No, I cared about the adults around me and the other kids around me telling me and coming up to me saying, Zach, you should be having better clothes. What do you have? And then the staff members going through my clothing and saying, these shorts don't fit you. Don't you have any shorts? And then I trade for some baggy shorts off another kid that doesn't fit. It was like a 34 and it didn't fit without a belt or a string. But I ended up trading for a bunch of baggy shorts because the shorts my mother and father were getting me were above the knee and I was being made fun of. Or they were old. I should say most of them were so old they were above the knee now. And the new ones, what new ones? A lot of them were jeans. So I had started cutting them. That's where I learned to cut my clothing to make them into what was necessary by other kids' standards. See, I was easygoing as a child, very easy. My parents tried to make it out like I was some really needy child that was really hard, but it was just my mother making things hard. I never really needed much clothing. It was just the other orphanage, other orphan kids that were in these programs. They clearly made it show that I had no clothing, and I was, oh, look at him wearing rags again. Literally, I was wearing extra large sweaters that I traded for. The shorts that looked good on me really didn't fit me at the waist, but they actually look good. That's why I like those shorts that weren't short shorts, but I had to trade for them. Meanwhile, the shorts that my parents bought me are short shorts, and I'm cool with this as a child. I'm fine with this. But now as an adult, I realize that the other adults were right. My father was getting $980 a month, and you have other orphan kids making fun of me because I don't have any proper clothing. Not my size. Some of them are been around too long. I'm a growing boy. there needs to be multiple clothing shops. And if he wanted, because there's a program willing to drive me to the mall once a month and bring 15 other kids clothing shopping, all my father had to do was give this program $50 and let me go clothing shopping with the other children. But that was too difficult for him to do. Parting with the money was too difficult for my father. Same thing when my own mother passed away while drinking in front of me. I got a call from an attorney telling me that my father was about to try something dirty and I should speak to him. So I asked my father about it. He lied to me, then swooped in to collect it all himself. So we know for a fact that it's the money that my father has a problem with when it comes to me. If there's any money that I'm entitled to, he doesn't want me to have it. And what's funnier about it is I don't care about the money. I never cared about the clothing. I cared about the kids making fun of me and the adults coming up going, "Where's your father? Why don't you have proper clothing? Why don't you have proper clothing? Zach, don't you have clothing that fits? Why are those short shorts? They're not short shorts. They're just regular shorts. No, they look like short shorts. Yeah, I've had them for a while. Well, go get a real pair of shorts. I don't have, my father won't bring me for another couple months. Another couple months? Yeah, right. And then I'm in trouble again. Now, I asked my father to allow me to go clothing shopping with the other kids, and I was told no. And I dealt with that. I did the best I could to look normal and wear the same clothing that the other kids around me were wearing. I wanted the same clothing that the other orphans in this program had. That's it. I just wanted to have as much clothing as an orphan. I also wanted to at least dress semi-close to the kids in my school. But see, these kids in my school, they were changing. They were growing. A pair of shorts that are 2 years old that I'm wearing are going to get me made fun of. A pair of jeans that have a fold at it. I used to be told, you know, those jeans make you, would you steal your mother's jeans? What do you mean? Well, the ass on that. Who stitched that thing? What do you mean? They're Costco jeans. What's wrong with them? They're Costco jeans? No wonder why it looks like you're wearing your mother's jeans. But they're just regular Costco jeans. I didn't think there was anything wrong with them when I was growing up. That's because I had low standards. I still do to this day. I have no problem shopping at those secondhand stores and double drying the clothing on the way home. It's not that big of expense. It is like $4 now for the double dry, and then I shop and pick out clothing that fits me or I like. Now, some of it might be misfitting, but I have to turn those in the rags. Still to this day, my standard for clothing is very low. It always was. Thanks to my father, I never got into fashion. I never was properly dressed. I never cared about it. When I was in New Mexico, I was freezing to death outside sometimes. They didn't care if I had proper gear outside. Some of these staff members, like Toby, that were choking kids and giving them food poisoning so they wouldn't get in trouble for the fridge breaking. And of course, what else? This is a cabin up in New Mexico that's underfunded that's eventually going to turn into a real program. But they don't have the funding for a real program yet, so they have a bunch of stakes in a dirt lot with a bunch of rattlesnake holes and red ant hills. They got a cabin with a kitchen and a bunch of picnic tables. They got a couple rooms where they threw bunk beds. They got a TV in an area with a foosball table we're not even allowed to use, by the way. We're not even allowed to use that stuff over there. We had to do it like when we had visits or when people were here, we could use it. But as soon as it came back to regular time, we weren't allowed to touch it because it could break or somebody could get hurt. The older kids sometimes got to use it, but not the younger ones. Anyways, there were stupid rules. Like, for instance, we had to sleep on the floor every night, and then they would wake us up at 5 in the morning, bring us to the bed, and then wake us up again at 6 o'clock to brush our teeth and get up for the day. And that is every day. Every single day. They make us go to sleep on the hard floor. We're allowed to have one blanket and one pillow. That's it. We're allowed to go to our room and grab one blanket and one pillow. Then we come back out to the hard floor, and every single kid has to go to sleep on the hard floor. The older kids that might protest get the couches. And then when we finally fall asleep, they'll watch us, the staff watch us sleep. Then at right before morning, they will let us go to our beds for 1 hour, and then we're supposed to get back up and get on with the day. Now, sometimes they would let us go back into the bedroom a couple hours early if it was a special occasion, like a woman staff member felt bad for us. Or there was another time that one of the other kids wrote a crayon on the wall and then tried to blame it. Actually, he blamed it, tried to blame it on me. Then he tried to say he didn't know about it, made up story and story. So they had us jogging in a circle until this kid admitted to what he was doing. This was nuts behavior here. And we also got food poisoning. I got food poisoning 3 times, one of which was emergency room level, where I was out for 7 days in the bed, vomiting for 7 days straight, trying to keep fluids down like apple juice. And I would just come right back up for 7 days. Severe food poisoning. And we know this because, yes, there was rotten milk that we knew was rotten. That Toby, a African American staff member that was like 260 pounds, all muscle. I mean, one of his arms was bigger than my body type shit. It was very abusive. He used to get thrills from causing pain. He used to like violent video games that he brought in one time as a school class. And he used to fight with the women staff members that used to try to help us. Like one of the women staff members created a class where we got to go out, learn about geology, then look for our own fossils. Each one of us found our own fossils. I actually was the last one to find one. Was not too good. But we each got a rock hammer. We went hammering rocks, and all of us found a real fossil on the side of a highway. Pretty cool, huh? Then we brought our fossils home, and Toby came in, grabbed all the kids' fossils, smashed them into pieces outside, and continued to yell at the other staff member for having a stupid class, he said. It's a stupid class. They're not going to learn anything. My video game class is so much better. I'm going to do a camping class too. Your classes stink. He's just screaming at her about this geology class, which actually was a lot better than when he brought his video game system in and we played some zombie, violent, swearing video game rated R, and all the older kids got to play while we younger kids watched the screen. That was the class for the day. That was my classroom lesson. That was while other kids in other states were learning their ABCs, while other kids who were much past first grade were learning division. Like I should have been learning division. For instance, when I left Texas, I was on addition and subtraction. They said next year you'll be taking division, multiplication and division. But then I got moved to Texas and I got to take camping and watch a rated R video game get played by a 13 and 14-year-old older kid. That was my class instead. Then my mother yelled at me all summer, or tried to yell at me as a homeschooling. And then my father actually taught me a little bit and calmed her down, and things went a little better. Then he left and she went nuts again. Then I get put in Chelmsford and I lose an entire year playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And toys. What the fuck is going on with today's world where a person like me can't even get an education? A lot of it was my mother and father, though. My mother did not want anybody to find out what happened to me in Westford. And that interfered with a lot of things because she knew better on a lot of these things. And she also was lying to my father and convincing him that everything was some psychological thing. She had an excuse for everything. Everything was something mental and couldn't be proven, though. Everything. She had a psychological excuse for everything. Why she's drinking, why she got caught with pills, why she ended up hitting me, why I'm saying stuff, why I'm talking about an overdose, why I'm talking about the Ipecac, why I'm mad at her, all with some fantasy that she spun. It was all like, oh, it's this mental illness, it's this mental illness, it's attachment disorder, it's his anger, it's this, it's that, it's bipolar, it's schizophrenia, it's whatever I can make up that makes you not look at me. That's what my mother did for years, and it hurt me. And today I cannot get proper medical care, and my father is getting much too old for me to not confront him on this. So I have told him about this over and over and over, and I've given him some time to mourn my mother's death because she died of cirrhosis because she was taking pills and alcohol. And my father watched her drink on her last day with us while her liver was failing, so we know that was a part of it. My father tried to hide that from the doctors, but it's okay. I don't care about that. I just care about forgiving him and getting medical care. That's what needs to happen now. I need to be able to forgive him. I need to be able to get medical care for what I'm talking about here, the neurological disorder and the stomach issues. I also need to be able to collect Social Security and go to work. And then I'm done. Then I'm done. The people who need my help, great. I'm always going to give it to anybody in need. But there are things I need and can't get because my father has put up walls and he won't take them down. He wants to prevent me from succeeding in getting medical care because my mother wanted to prevent me from succeeding in getting medical care for this. And now he is complicit in it. Now that he's been told what's going on, he's now complicit in it. What I can't believe, I think what he's doing is his new wife that knows nothing about the situation wants to keep spending his money and controlling the situation. So I bet she's calling it a fantasy where knows nothing about it. I mean, my mother, me, my father, Tim, Valerie, Seth, we're the ones that know what was going on here. The outside forces don't. There's even a DMH worker who used to see us in Chelmsford. There's even a couple doctors who I saw in Westford that know more about the situation than my father's new wife. But my father's new wife will say, well, I knew his mother, so I know everything. And I know Zach, even though I didn't spend any time with him, I know him from all the fantasies I heard from his mother. So I know this is all a mental illness, and don't listen to him. Don't run any testing. Just let him die. Just let him die. We don't want to hear it. Just let him die. That is her opinion. So she's going to continue putting those evil thoughts in my father's head as I try to turn him to Jesus and try to say, okay, it's really easy. I'm here for you. I got forgiveness for you. I'm not after you. I'm not mad at you. My mother, your wife, lied to me, hurt me, and lied to you, and literally I was dying at your feet. And as the hospital told her, bring me to the emergency room, she said, they don't know what they're talking about. Hung up and then told you they don't know what they're talking about. Now, as a previous nurse, I know my mother knew better. And as my father, you know my mother knew better. But she left me, and so did you, at that pile of newspapers to die. And I woke up permanently damaged. Now, I need my father to take responsibility for what his wife did that night, as well as what she did many times after that, like the Epicac punishment. That's not right. You don't give a child extra medication for any reason. I have problems with my stomach and esophagus, and I've had them ever since. Those pills, medications, plus the Epicac punishment, all combined, damaged my nervous system, damaged my speech, my movements, and it damaged my stomach and esophagus. I need medical care for this, but your wife has lied and put up so many walls to prevent anybody from giving me medical care. She has spun so many lies, and that's also causing harm. Because when I get injured, like if I have a seizure or if I'm bleeding internally, I can't get medical care because my mother has said that everything that comes out of my mouth is something, 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 is schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever illness you can shoot out there. And you, my father, has spent money putting this stuff in the stone, preventing me from going forward. And my father's name is also on a lot of these old medical paperworks that were established that say that I can't get any medical care, that I should be given a psychiatrist for a broken leg. I go into a hospital with a broken leg, let's say. Well, I'll give you a hypothetical. Let's say I break my leg. So I go to the emergency room and I tell them I broke my leg, I need a cast, blah, blah, blah. They suggest, have you seen a psychiatrist about this? And I tell them, no. Why would I do that? Well, anyways, we're going to release you. So they release me. So, anyways, I go back a second time with a broken leg that's now a little swollen, and I ask them to look at it. So they give me a room. The doctor refuses to come in there, and they say, have you thought about a psychiatrist yet? And I say, why would I do that? And then I leave. Or they release me, then I leave. Then I go back a third time. My leg is even more swollen. I'm screaming in pain. I'm pissed off. I tell them, I have a broken leg. Please do not tell me to go to a goddamn psychiatrist like a crazy person. You guys are acting crazy. Then they say, yeah, we're acting crazy. You're the one screaming over here. And then they say, Zach, the crazy person is here. So finally the doctor goes, oh, okay, show me the damn leg. So I lift up the leg. Now it's all red, swollen, puffy. They go, oh, this is real? Okay, let's do an x-ray. Then they do an x-ray. They see a fracture and a break. Then they give me a cast. And they all look like they're mad at me because they made a mistake. Then they release me with some shitty paperwork that says like I'm excused from gym class instead of a do not lift order. Like I tell them I need a do not lift order because at my company, Coca-Cola will fine us if the Coca-Cola is on the cement on the ground, and seeing as I got a broken leg, I can't lift it. So I need a do not lift order. And they say, sure. And then I get all my paperwork, I go home, and my do not lift order says I'm excused from gym class, where I've never had a gym class in my life. That really happened to me. I asked for a do not lift order, and they gave me, I'm excused from gym class. I've never been to a gym class in my life, and then I just get home with a broken leg. That's all based off of stuff that really happens to me. This really happens. When I was bleeding internally, this really happened to me. When I had a seizure, this really happened to me. This is the treatment I get at emergency rooms thanks to my mother and father. This is the treatment I've been getting for 25 years. Getting worse. Well, it started to get really like that at 16, 17, 18. It was a little different during childhood before they really started to feed into my mother's mental illness. As soon as the doctors started to feed into my mother's mental illness and her fantasies, oh my God, did I get more and more hurt. I mean, one time in Lowell Treatment Center, not only was I like raped or almost raped, I had a kid stick his finger in his pants that was from 8 rooms down, and the staff allowed this kid to come in every night to my room after they already knew he wasn't supposed to be in there on camera. Literally, I had a golden lawsuit. They wanted me to sign my rights away so I couldn't sue. But they didn't have to worry. I never signed, but I never sued either. And it was on camera, these assholes. But that's not even the worst one. During childhood, at like the age of 13, 14 years old, I was in Lowell Treatment Center, and I was held down and given the same medication twice in the same hour, only because my roommate wanted to make up stories because he wanted to get back at me. That's it. What did I do so bad? I told him to stop talking about drugs. I told my roommate I don't want to hear about drugs as I'm eating a candy cane that's crushed up because my teeth hurt. And he's like, what is that, cocaine? Making stupid jokes. I don't want to hear it. So he gets mad that I don't want to hear his stupid drug jokes. And he goes out in the hallway, tells somebody a story. The staff member comes in, asks me if I took my meds. I say, of course I did. You were there. You gave me a shitload of meds. Yeah, I took all those crazy pills, the Seroquel, the Thorazine. I took all of them. I don't know why you guys are giving me all these pills, but I took them. My mother says I need them for life, and she keeps on making up stories about me, and you guys keep on drugging me, and then I'm drowsy, headache, I'm loopy, and then you guys act like it's my fault that I'm drowsy and loopy and down after you just gave me downers. But anyways, yeah, I took them. You can tell I took them. They're starting to kick in, and my speech is saying, ugh. Yeah, the Thorazine's kicking in, and so is the Seroquel. It's only been 30 minutes or so, but I feel one of them. Why? Then she goes, I don't think you did. I go, well, I did, and I took them in front of you. I don't know what more I can tell you. She goes, well, we'll see about this. So she calls over somebody. She goes, give this kid his meds again. And I go, you're a bitch. You're going to get me hurt. Do you realize that? You're going to get me hurt. And then she goes, oh, yeah, watch this. Hold him down. And then they grab me, they hold me down and start forcing a second dose of drugs into me. And I literally have flashbacks of this day for the rest of my fucking life. I have PTSD memories from a psych hospital double dosing me with the same drugs in the same hour. All because my roommate told the story. You know how scary it is to know that a hospital will destroy your health, maybe even kill you, all because of a roommate wants to blab a story that's fake? I mean, yeah, people cheek meds and things, but this was nothing like that. These are real events. It only happened to me twice. Now, one time in the orphanage, I was given a double dose of two drugs at breakfast for the same reason. I was at breakfast. The kid put ketchup in my orange juice. He said, aren't you mad? Kept on eating my scrambled eggs. I was only like 4 years old. I said, no, I'm not mad. And I just ate my scrambled eggs. Then he goes, you're not mad? He's trying to get a rise on me. I go, no. He puts more ketchup, looks at me, I'm not mad. Well, actually, I don't think he put more ketchup. I think he only, let me see. I get to the table. He sits down next to me. We start eating the scrambled eggs. There's orange juice at the table. He reaches over, puts his ketchup in there. He starts talking to me as I turn my head. He's asking me if I'm mad, in other words. I'm paraphrasing that one because I don't see his mouth moving much. I say no. I'm going back to turn my head to eat my eggs. Then he tries to get he taps my shoulder. That's what it was. He didn't put more ketchup in my eggs. He taps my shoulder. I turn and he goes, well, watch this. And then he gets out of his seat and walks away. And then instead of watching him, I turn to the scrambled eggs. I'm looking at the eggs and I'm eating again. Then I remember a staff member out of the corner of my eye bending over, getting my attention. Remember, I'm 4 years old. This is my PTSD. This is where it's from. Oh my God, when I'm in hospitals, it's the worst because they're the ones who do this shit type of shit. Anyways, she moves her head down and asks me if I take my medication. And I'm all confused. I remember being confused because I'm just trying to eat scrambled eggs, and he said, watch this. What does that have to do with that other 4-year-old? I mean, I don't understand. I say, yes. I just answered the question. Yes, I did everything you guys told me today. Then she goes, what is that in your glass? I say, ketchup. So-and-so poured ketchup in my glass. Then the staff member goes, I don't think so, and grabs me and brings me to an older lady, a heavyset lady that must have been a nurse. Then she asks me all the same questions. Did you take your meds? Yes. Why does he say you didn't? I don't know. Then, well, we're going to give you your meds again. Go look at the orange juice. There's ketchup, and he's just pouring ketchup in my orange juice. I cry. I start freaking out because these people are going to hurt me. They're going to hurt me. I panic. They're going to hurt me. It's just ketchup. It's just ketchup. Please don't do this to me. Please don't hurt me. They go, oh, if it's just ketchup, then we're not going to double dose you. Where's his glass? Oh, it's already been washed. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to have to do this. They grab me, hold me down. Ah, please don't do this. I've already taken them. They force my mouth open. They fucking force the pills into my mouth. They fucking inject me with another one on my side. And then they leave me in a chair as a vegetable, just drooling on myself, waiting for the pills, all scared and traumatized that now I've had a second dose of pills forced into my body. Now, this also, don't forget, happened to me at age 14 in Lowell Treatment Center. So, in St. Anne's Orphanage, when I was 4 before I ever got into the system, but then my parents made sure this would happen to me again. And not only that, my mother was spinning so many stories. This will probably continue happening to me until the day I die from all the damage, PTSD, anxiety, all the damn druggings, my neurological disorder. I had a car run over my hair, almost popped my head like a blueberry, just like 3 years ago. Like 3 years ago, my head was a centimeter from being popped like a fucking blueberry because I had a seizure on the side of the road once again. And the doctors are not doing anything about it because my mother and father made sure that I would die from this.